Inside the Park. I'm Cheryl Lufitz. Today, we're going to take a closer look at the results of the Mount Prospect Park District Community Attitude and Interest Survey.
It seems simple enough. Ask questions and listen to answers. But it's knowing the right questions to ask. Questions that provide true insight about how the community feels about their park district. What are we doing right? What can we do better? That's where Acuity Research and Insights come in. Acuity President Jeff Andreasen has been designing survey solutions, that is, asking the right questions, for over 30 years.
We come up with the questions by spending time with the agency up front to listen to their priorities. While we have some standard questions that we can use for benchmarking so that we can see how an agency is seen in their community relative to neighboring agencies, we try and make our questionnaires as customized as possible so that the topics that we're asking residents are very specific to that agency and their priorities. You also need to have the opportunity to be surprised and hear things back from the community that you hadn't anticipated or weren't on your radar. And so one of the ways that we do that in our surveys is we ask open-ended questions. And rather than ask people, well, what do you think of this? Or what do you think about this facility or this improvement? We ask things like, in your own words, what's the one thing that the park district should be doing better or differently?
So after you compile the questions, who do you ask? How many people do you ask in order to get a reliable snapshot of the community? And how do you make this data collection convenient and accessible for those taking part in the survey?
The data collection process for a community survey can be done a number of different ways. Our recommended way and the approach that we use for Mount Prospect was to give residents in the district an option to complete the survey. They could complete it through a mail survey, they could complete it online, or they could complete it by phone. So the number of surveys that we're looking to have returned really depends on the size of the community. For Mount Prospect, we recommended a minimum of 300 completions. We ended up getting just over 420 responses from those three modes, online, mail surveys, and phone surveys. And so with that kind of a response for a community of this size, we have a pretty good degree of reliability and confidence in the results. We were very careful to make sure that the 430 some respondents were identical to the Mount Prospect Park District census data in terms of where people live, their age, whether or not they have small children at home, their gender, all of those things. And so we were very careful to make sure that we were looking at a representative sample.
After the survey response was closed in January, Acuity began tabulating and analyzing the information. The results were presented to the Park District Board of Commissioners that same month, and there were a number of things that stood out.
One of the things that we found was among the local agencies in the community, the Park District fared very well. It's known to virtually every resident, and those who know it really like it. I think only the high schools in the area received higher overall opinions in terms of the esteem for local agencies. The other thing that really struck us was the strong support and usage of the number of different parks and programs in the area. When we asked people where they went, which facilities, which parks they visited in the past year, or someone else in their household, people saying the neighborhood park, a local playground, topped the list among all of the facilities. And likewise, when we asked them about Park District programs, one of the things they liked most about the programs was that they were well distributed throughout the district. People had easy access to take advantage of some of those programs. Some of the other questions, again, the district fared very well in terms of the perceived value that it represents, given that it represents, I believe, about 6 or 7% of a person's property taxes. They thought that for all the facilities and programs and services that it offers, it really represents a very good value for them. And that also came up in the questions about programming as well. So there was a lot of good news coming out of the survey for the agency.
In order for such a survey to impact the district, the results need to reflect not only what we're doing right, but areas that need improvement.
There's always room for improvement in these agencies. One of the key areas that we found in our survey was on a program level. While the programs were clearly a strength of the Park District overall, there is a clear sense in the community that programs for middle-aged, empty nester households, those probably in their mid-late 40s to early 60s, feel underserved. I think park districts in general, they're doing a much better job in delivering programs not only for children and young people and young families, but also seniors. But now it's kind of that group in the middle, the people whose kids are gone, who are still very busy, still very active, may not have time to investigate and understand what's available to them in the park district. They tend to feel underserved. So that's a big opportunity for the park district.
The Mount Prospect Park District Strategic Plan is intended to clarify who we are, why we exist, where we are as an organization, and where we're headed. Resident feedback is the starting point for implementation of any long-range plan.
Our community survey is complete. Where do we go from here? One area that was mentioned as a strength and an area of improvement was our programming. Brian Taylor is the Director of Recreation. So Brian, tell me more about our programming currently.
I feel that our programming definitely came out in the community survey, as you stated, as a strength. And it is one of those things that we're continuing to look at from an improvement standpoint. I do feel at this point right now our programming does hit every facet of life. We have everything from the infant water adjustment class where moms and dads can bring their young children into the water and get them acclimated in that aspect, all the way through to the senior workouts where people can come in and, you know, even if they're just looking to increase their daily activity, we have those aspects as well. So I feel like our programming is hitting every walk of life, whether you're a beginner and wanting to learn how to do something, or you're an expert and want to continue with what you're doing.
Now, kind of in the middle of that demographic, kind of covering everyone, is older active adults in the 40 to 64-year-old age group. Now, we won't say whether him or I are part of that age group, but talk to me about they are asking for more programming, and so what are we looking to develop in the future for them?
That was one area that I was definitely inspired to hear and read about is that it just goes to show me that we are going past the stereotypical park district where it's just for youth and children. We are working past that so that people can, foster an active lifestyle and work towards things that they enjoy and what they want to do. So those are the things that we're looking for in terms of where we're going with programming is that we will continue to improve programming from that aspect.
Now, over 70% of the respondents said that they had participated in a program or an event over the past year, including youth and adult athletics, fitness, aquatics. What about those areas? It looks like we are serving that group, but what are we looking to do?
I think that was a key point as well, and going forward with that is that that's where we go through and motivate and inspire our professional recreation staff to think outside the box and bring new ideas to the table that allow us to expand our programming offerings. For example, fitness, it's an ever-changing world
all the time
in terms of what we're trying to do. So that is one area that is going to be on our focus, or where we're going here in the near future is to continue with those fitness trends.
And there's a lot that goes into creating programming. It's not just picking a class, it's making sure it's at the right time, it's at the right location, and we've also tried to work on getting people, making it easier for people to actually participate and sign up for our classes.
Correct, and I think that ease of use is allowing the technology and bringing those aspects into the home versus having to force them to come out to our facilities. Not that we don't want them in there, but we want them to go through our brochure and look and then go online and purchase. So.
At whatever time they want to do that.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that sometimes that doesn't happen after hours, but we do. We want to make it easier for
Correct.
People. And people are out and about. They're in our parks, they're in our facilities. Over 91% said they had visited either a park facility or a park in the last 12 months. So tell me a little bit about what's new out there.
Well, Cheryl, have you visited Einstein Park lately?
Not in the off season.
So I think what's great about Einstein Park is we've recently went through and renovated that park. One of the things that you will see out there is you'll see workout equipment. So we've put outdoor workout equipment in a centralized location of the park. So when you're walking around the park, you can stop in and get your strength workout in addition to your cardio workout. In addition to that is that I feel, again, encouraging our staff to think outside the box and bringing new activities into play. For example, we've just started pickleball at Central Community Center. It's been a great
really
undertaking.
popular.
Yes, it's been a great undertaking. We're getting a lot of new clientele in the building, and it allows people to get into our facilities as well as into our parks.
So Brian, what are you most excited about as we look at the future goals of the Park District?
I'm most excited about taking the information that was provided to us through the community survey as well as the focus groups and encouraging our staff to become innovative in their programming, as well as providing that opportunity for our Park District residents to become the primary source of recreation here in our organization.
Now, as we look at these results, we're not stopping here. We need to sort of make a path, make a map, and map our future of the district. And you're involved in that in the development of our strategic plan. Why don't you tell us more about that?
We're currently in the process of, we've just recently finished our mission, vision, and value statements. And then we're currently going through the theme process. So what we're going to do is going to go through and put some themes to our mission and vision. From there, we're going to go back to our staff and ask them to develop goals and objectives, which will allow us to incorporate our plan and develop our plan moving forward into the future.
And all the information we've talked about here today and the development of the strategic plan, the community survey results, everything is available on the Park District website. Simply log on, click on About Us, and then click on Strategic Plan. One result that stood out following our survey was that 100% all respondents had spent time in our parks throughout the district. Now, not only had they spent time in our parks, but they gave us high ratings, over 90%, for safety, cleanliness, accessibility, and maintenance. So I'm here at our Cook Maintenance Facility, tucked away in a quiet corner from all the equipment and things like that, to talk with Nick Aiello, our Grounds Department Manager. Nick, congratulations on such high marks in our community survey. It's really a credit to you and your team. And let's talk a little bit about what it takes to keep our parks in such high standards. Give me an idea of what you and the guys do on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you, Cheryl. Yes, the guys do a great job of maintaining playgrounds and repairs, athletic fields, litter removal, mowing. Mowing and litter removal is probably what everybody sees as far as users when they show up at the parks. So that's very important. Tree removal, tree planting is some of the things we do also.
Talk about maybe the differences too. Like, I think that's what everybody thinks about, guys out on the mower, guys maintaining the parks. But I know, like this past winter season with big snowfalls, you guys are on it right away, not only in the parks, but at the facilities.
Yes. Winter operations, snow removal operations, if it happens to snow overnight, then the crew shows up at 4 a.m. and we will start clearing our facilities, parking lots, and entrances, and then we will move on to our parks, sidewalks, and pathways to get them safe.
How difficult is it to keep up like the playground equipment? I know we've been replacing a lot of it and things like that. What do we have to do to maintain the safety standards of the playground?
Well, we have an in-house certified playground safety inspector. He inspects the playgrounds once every quarter, every 3 months, and if he finds anything wrong, he documents it, and we get the appropriate equipment that we need to replace, and we will repair it in-house.
So talk to me about spring and summer. How many guys are on your crew? How many teams do you have? How do you tackle the tasks at hand?
Summer and winter are very different. Summer, everybody's out in the parks. We have athletic programs going on, special events, concerts, so park permits also. So it's very hectic. Winter is not so hectic. Snow removal, so we have 2 outdoor ice rinks we have to maintain. Parks and pathways, also snow removal. We do our maintenance on our equipment here, picnic tables, bleachers, tractors and whatnot. Everything gets done during the winter, so we're ready to go once the weather turns nice.
Nice. What is the most challenging task? Is there something where it's a tough job, but you guys get it done and the residents are pleased?
I think our biggest challenge here is the weather. I think 95% of what we do is dictated by the weather. So if it happens to rain, it throws off the whole schedule for the week. Painting athletic fields, mowing and whatnot, that really throws everything off.
Do you have a favorite park?
I don't have a favorite park. I like them all.
That's a good answer. Is there anyone, or give me an idea of what it takes to maintain maybe a larger park versus a smaller park, that kind of thing? Do some parks get more attention than others or need more attention than others?
Majewski gets more attention just because of the amount of fields we have out there. We have 3 softball fields and 7 soccer fields. So, and those fields are used probably almost every day. So they require a little bit more of attention.
I know it can be hard just even as a homeowner to keep my lawn up to snuff, if you will. How many acres do you guys mow a summer, and how many times a week do you have to do it?
We have a 4-man mowing crew that mows every day from the beginning of the turf growth, with early April, through December when we're mulching. So we have a 4-man crew 5 days a week, 8 hours a day mowing. As far as acreage, 350 plus acres.
Means I better get out there with my Toro in the spring when I get home.
We could use the help.
Let's talk a little bit about residents. They're passionate about the parks. They're obviously spending time in there. The parks are safe and they're clean, but we can't necessarily do it on our own. What if residents are watching? What can they do to sort of help us keep these standards?
We do have residents that I see frequently picking up garbage, reporting to us branches, trees down, vandalism. So it's good. If you see a problem, don't hesitate, call us.
Excellent. Nick, I want to thank you and thank your crew for keeping our parks up to the standards that are impressing not only our staff but our residents, so people can enjoy our outdoor areas. If you want more information and to find out all of our parks and facilities, simply look in the back of the brochure. We have a map and a listing of amenities, or log on to our website, mppd.org. The Mount Prospect Park District Board of Commissioners approved completion of the community survey last fall. To understand the thought process behind the need for a survey, I am joined by Steve Kirka, the board president. So Steve, why did the district choose to do a community survey?
Well, Cheryl, it had been quite a while since the board had really gauged the pulse of the community. So since 2005, that was the last year that we had done a survey. We just thought that over the course of the last 13 years, probably many attitudes and many lives have changed throughout the community. So felt it was time to re-gauge what the community felt was important.
And what did you see as far as the results? What are our strengths as a district?
Strengths is that a lot of people tend to use the parks. We found out that virtually 100% of the people that participated in the survey tended to at least go to one park or one facility throughout the year, which that's great. If we're able to provide that kind of support for our residents, that was really pleasing for the board.
Did that surprise you, the support of green space? I think we think a lot about programming and all the things that we offer at the Park District, but at the heart of it, it is about the outdoor space.
It really is. And that essentially, when I think of parks, that's the first thing I think of, is literally the grass that's down the block from me and the benches and the people out playing, the kids running through the park, the swing sets, those kind of things. That's stuff we all grew up with. The programming, though, is also important, and I think we got some strong responses on that, too.
One area that we could look to improve was with groups of active adults, ages 40 to 64. They were looking maybe for additional programming here at the Park District. What does the board want to do to serve that demographic?
Well, that's an important part of our community, as is everybody. But let's face it, lives and times have changed. They are active adults. And the needs have changed, too, because people have non-traditional hours now. They don't necessarily go to work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. They may work early in the morning, take a break during the day, and then even work or not work on weekends. So from a board standpoint, our scheduling needs to be a little bit more flexible. We've started to add into our programming times and classes that are you can attend at any time. You can buy a membership into a program, but as long as there's a program time available, you're free to walk in now. Where it used to be strictly, it was at 1 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon and that was it. Well, we've adapted, and I'd like to see us do more of that too.
Was there anything in the survey that surprised you?
One of the things that really stood out was how many people frequent some of our other facilities. We're here at the Recplex. widely known. I think the survey represented that almost 3/4 of the people that took the survey have been to the Recplex and are familiar with this facility. But the other smaller specialty venues, the conservatory, the art studio, even the golf course, a lot of people have frequented those, and that was a little surprising in a pleasing way too.
Now, the survey results will be used to help in the development of our strategic plan. And what's the board's involvement as far as helping that evolve?
Well, as far as the strategic plan goes, that's really what guides us. We are looking to not only the respondents to the survey to help us understand what they feel is important for the community, but then also looking for staff to figure out how do we apply this going forward over the next 3 to 5 years. And for us, that'll guide how we allocate dollars and resources to those different projects. It's really going to be an invaluable tool.
I was going to say, it's an exciting time to be a part of the administration here at the Park District.
It is. We have a new director on board. We've reorganized in a couple of areas. I think our focus is in better and more specialized areas. I think it's going to bring quite a few exciting changes to the Park District over the next few years.
So in looking at the survey results, what did it affirm to you on a personal level?
Well, for me personally, what I really enjoyed seeing in the results was how the public really rated our staff. I think our staff does a great job personally, but it was really affirming and nice to hear that so do the residents of the Park District. We had incredibly high marks for customer service, and I know we have a staff that just strives for that daily. They always try to be better, and let's face it, there are times where you can always be better. But our staff is really hardworking. They do a great job. And to see that in the survey results, I was especially proud of our staff for that.
Now, we had great response to the community survey, but we probably should also mention that at every board meeting, the public has a chance to attend, to listen, and to even express themselves.
Sure. And we encourage that. We have quite a few regulars that come to board meetings, but we always welcome other people's opinions and thoughts. We'd love people to stop by and just see how the board operates. I think that would be an informative hour and a half for many people, and we would love to hear from people. There's an opportunity at every board meeting where they can get up and address the board and tell them what's important to them throughout the Park District. So highly encourage people to attend our board meetings.
Steve, I want to thank you for joining me today. I want to remind everyone that a list of the board meetings that take place at Central Community Center are available on our website, as well as the minutes and the agendas for the board meetings coming up. So simply click on mppd.org and About Us and Park Board.
Great things are ahead for the Mount Prospect Park District and its residents as we continue to map our future. Our core values will guide our decisions for many years to come. Customer service, innovation, accountability, fiscal responsibility, excellence. It is our mission to provide exceptional parks and recreational experiences that enrich the quality of life for present and future generations. We offer a sincere thanks to you, our residents, for your participation in this process. We'd like you to know we've heard you. From praise to the suggestions for improvement, your input is shaping the district's future.